Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another summer edition of the Broom Brothers. This is Chattin with a Captain number 3. This is, of course, the official podcast of the curling group and the Grand Slam of Curling. John Cullen with you, and pleased to be joined by Captain of Europe 1 or 2, or I don't know. 1. Okay, we're saying 1. Bruce Mouat is here. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thank
For
you.
those of you who are not seeing the video, Bruce held up a 1. So have you been told, are you Europe 1 officially?
No, I don't actually know if that's fact, but I just like to be number 1.
Okay, I like the lip smack in there too. This is good. I feel like you're starting to come into your own as like a, one of the superstars of the game.
Well, thank you, I guess. Yeah.
You're starting to put your foot down. You're like, I'm Europe 1. Let's be honest.
I wasn't ready for that kind of a compliment already. I just, trying to be myself, just trying to have a bit of fun, and I enjoy my curling. So yeah, it's been a really good journey up till now, and hopefully continue that trend.
Yeah, Europe 1. We're calling it here first. I mean, I do believe the teams are going to have names. I don't believe there's going to be a Europe. I don't think the team names are going to be Europe 1 and Europe 2. But
I think it's just a bit of fun rivalry between me and Alina to find out who's getting the number 1 and number 2. But as you say, they're on the same level. They're not 1 or 2.
I'm not trying to play politics here. I had Alina on the show last week. I love you both. So in my mind, you're Europe 1 and 1A and B.
Yeah.
You're both a number 1 in my heart.
Oh, thank you, John. Very sweet.
Now, this is the first time I've had you on a solo episode of Broom Brothers. Obviously, we had you on the Pride panel earlier this summer, but that does mean I have to run you through the top 4, which is how we start all of these episodes. So I'm going to ask you 4 questions in quick succession, and you're just going to give me the first answer that pops into your mind, all right? Okay, question 1. Who is a curler you have never played with before that you would most like to?
Selena Negevin.
Oh, that's good. People may not know this, but you two sneaky friends on tour. I feel like maybe people haven't realized, but you two are pretty tight.
Yeah, we're good friends. Like, we've spoken about playing like fun mixed doubles events and stuff, but obviously it's pretty tough. She's living in somewhere in Manitoba near Winnipeg. I should know that. I swear we're friends.
Okay, they're not that tight. Sorry, that's my fault. That's bad reporting.
I have been to her house. I swear, I just don't know where it was. Someone else must have driven that day. But yeah, no, we're pretty pally. Like, we met the first year we played the Players Championship in like 2018, and we've been pretty pally since then.
Love it. If both sets of rocks are good, you know that there's no problems with either set. What color are you taking?
Yellow.
Which city is your favorite to play in that's not your hometown?
I loved playing in Kelowna. I didn't really play, but I was there. I was on the ice.
You were on the ice. You were coaching, right, at 4 foot? Yeah. So that counts. Mm-hmm. And finally, how would your bitterest rival describe you?
Killing them with kindness.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, it's hard to, I always say, like, when I grew up, one of my like idol teams in 2000, a BC team won the Worlds, and I grew up in BC, and Brian Mickey was on that team, and he not only won the Brier, but he won the Sportsmanship Award at that same Brier, and the winning team never gets the Sportsmanship Award. I mean, that's like almost against the rules.
Yeah.
You've got to be above and beyond. So maybe that's your future. I mean, Alina keeps winning it for the women. So do they even have one for the men at Worlds?
They do, yeah.
Okay.
Who won it? It was Martin won it this year from Norway.
Sessaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever won it?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Maybe I'm not killing them. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm really mean.
No, it's just you're too good. They don't want to actually give you the award. That's what I think it's coming down to.
I was pretty bad before. It was like taking a while to become good. So maybe I don't know.
Now, this is true, and I didn't actually know this, but I was doing some research for my book that's coming out, and shameless plug. And I played in one tier 2 Grand Slam, and you were also in it. And
Ah,
my team went further than yours. So, Bruce, I hate to tell you this, but I'm actually better than you by the laws of curling.
that is true. And
Yeah.
I remember that because that was my first slam, I think. Maybe it was my second one because I think we got to go to the Champions Cup. And then the
Oh,
year after, we played in that tier 2 event. And then I think we lost to uh, Greg Balsden in
yeah.
the
We
playoff.
lost to
Yeah.
Ballsy in the semis.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're better than me.
Well, we both lost to Ballsy, so I don't know
Oh,
if
well,
that makes either one of us good,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, you
I think
went
he
on to
won
do
the event.
great things. Sorry?
He went on to win that event.
He did, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one where the tier 2. This was in Cranbrook, BC, and
Mhm.
they were having a real problem with the tier 1 building, and they had also brought in a new set of rocks, and the curlers did not like the rocks either,
Yeah.
and so all the curlers were saying the tier 2 ice and rocks were way better than the tier 1, and you had to go play the tier 2 final in the tier 1 building, and all the tier 2 curlers were like, no, we don't want it, we don't want to.
I
And
remember now, yeah.
yeah, that was a real time.
That's why
Anyway.
you lost the semi, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I didn't want to be embarrassed on TV, I don't want to go out there and play bad. And no, I
Yeah,
mean, Ballsy they were good. I mean, they were really good. That event especially, Greg played out of his mind. He played so good against us. So
yeah,
anyway,
same.
we don't have to reminisce about the old days when the Grand Slams was basically the Ontario Curling Tour. Let's talk about your summer, Bruce. I want to ask, maybe this is unfair of me to say, but it does feel like you've been all over the place. I did call you a superstar earlier, but I feel like you are getting kind of known in the British sporting community. It feels like you're doing keynotes, you're going on cruises. Like, tell me about your summer. What's going on?
Yeah, well, it's been pretty busy, as you say. Like, I got back from the mixed doubles, and as pretty much as soon as we got back, we had some kind of media stuff that we were doing because I hadn't been home since the World Men's. And we had obviously won that event, and then there was things to do with the announcement of the Olympics as well that we had to keep kind of embargoed. So we knew in May that we were going, and we had to do some media around that. So we actually got like Sky TV, which was quite a big thing for curling in the UK because Sky is obviously one of our bigger channels. So we did some stuff with a presenter and like taught her how to curl, and that then got released straight after the announcement at the end of June. And we were doing stuff with like the Scottish television network. Craig and I got the opportunity to go on a cruise, as you said, which is mad. And I did a talk on the cruise, and then I did a Q&A as well. And it's funny because like a lot of the people on the cruise are obviously English, and there's not a massive curling community in England. So they had no idea what curling was, to be honest. Then I was talking, like, I really should have just talked about like curling and what it was and how we play the game and like, come and join us. But instead, I was like, no, I'm going to talk about team dynamics. And then I'm like name dropping Hammy and Bobby and Grant. And everyone's just like, who? And then, yeah, I think the first question I got asked in the Q&A was, how do you transport your curling stones? And I was like,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I should have really just talked about curling.
The
I would
first question was, do you throw or do you sweep? That's
That's
always
also, yeah, that was asked as well. And I was like, I'm a mixed doubles athlete. I do both.
So that was kind of a good, like that brought you back down to earth a little bit because you're doing
It,
all this big stuff, and then you're like, oh, people still don't actually know anything about me.
yeah, but that's also like a good aim for us is to kind of try and grow the sport down there as well. Because obviously in Scotland, it's pretty popular. It's obviously not as popular as in Canada, but yeah, it's a good kind of aim for us.
I want to talk about something I saw, which was about a week ago as you and I are talking, and it'll be about 3 weeks ago by the time this episode comes out. You're back on the ice.
Mhm.
You're back in training mode. Is that something that British curling decides that you get back on the ice at this time? Is that something your team decides? You personally decide? Because I think for Canadians who are seeing that, they go July. I'm not getting on the ice in July. So how do you kind of decide when you get ramping back up for next season?
So it's a British curling decision. We're technically we're not employed by them, but they're through them we get funding through like National Lottery and UK Sport. So we have to sign contracts, and then contractually, or whatever the word is,
Contractually.
that's the one. We have to be back on the ice in July, and it was meant to be. Yeah, it was the second week in July, the 14th we went back. So last Monday we went back, and it was like I woke up on Monday and I was like, do I want to go curl? Probably not, but I went in and I was pretty happy.
Do you think your off season's too short? I mean, you had such a busy year with your mixed doubles schedule on top of your Team Mouat schedule. As you said, you basically finished the year with a month. You went from the Worlds to the Players Championship to the World Mixed Doubles. Like, is that too short of an off season for you?
You know, I'm a person that likes routine, and when I only had to go to the gym like for 2 hours, and then I had the rest of the day, and I would often find myself just been like doing nothing. So like
Right.
I'm actually kind of glad that I've got a routine back. So I don't mind being back on the ice. So it's not like we're doing really technical stuff yet. We're just, trying to get the muscle memory back. So I don't really mind being back on. And yeah, maybe it could have been another week or two longer, but I've got quite a lot of goals for this season, so quite happy to start training towards them.
Sure. I mean, we'll get into those in a little bit, but is there a part of you that does kind of laugh at Canada, because none of the top Canadian teams are going to sniff the ice for another month? Looks like a lot of the European teams are back on the ice. Like, is there a part of you that's going like, damn, I'm going to be ahead. I'm already ahead.
I mean, maybe in like the events in September we'll be ahead, but like by the time, October, November, December come along, the Canadians will have their muscle memory back and they'll be firing on all cylinders again. But it's always quite nice when the European teams do pretty well in September, because we have been back on the ice in July or August in some cases. But yeah, I think like I'm not gonna expect them to be rubbish for the full season. They're gonna be amazing, I'm sure, because they always are.
I'm trying to get you to talk shit, Bruce. What's
Oh,
going on
sorry.
here?
Yeah, you guys are gonna be rubbish.
That was not very convincing trash talk. I have to be fully honest with you.
Fell into my kindness, remember?
I know. And you are a good guy, but I'm trying to foster rivalries in the game,
Okay. Yeah, I'll try, and next question, and I'll try.
Well, now I'm switching gears. I guess
Okay.
my next question should be, how do you personally feel about Brad Jacobs? I just changed
Honestly,
my
I
whole.
think we should have what would it be? BMB, be more Brad.
Yeah,
not give a fuck.
that's a good. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
BMB. I do like that. Yeah, and that's kind of true of both Brads, really. I would say Jacobs
true.
and Guju kind of don't really give a fuck at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. Like last season was like for a lot of reasons, but like the Slam in St. John's was just really cool to see that atmosphere. And I know we've talked about it, and you guys have talked about it a lot on your podcast. But yeah, I was just a big fan of the crowd booing him, and then him kind of like trying to rile them up as well. I just thought that was amazing. And I kind of want to be a part of it, but then I'm kind of like, no, do I want people to boo me? Probably not. Would I cry? Probably.
You think you'd cry if people booed you?
No, I wouldn't. I'm just being facetious. Is that the word?
That is a word. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
word. We'd
Yeah.
call
Well,
that
there you go.
a 10-cent word here in Canada. Sometimes people call it like a $5 word. There's few different ways of saying like, yeah, fancy word, good word.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. Sorry, you don't have dollars over there. A €2 word.
Oh, we're not Euros either.
Okay, a
You were in
£2
Scotland
word.
last summer. You should know this. Yeah.
Well, I know, but then right, because yeah, we don't have to get into why you don't use the euro, but yes, you're right. I always
That's
forget.
a whole different podcast. Yeah.
Well, that is definitely. And look, maybe I'm just, I felt like when I was in Scotland, I really became like a Scotsman, and I was like, let's get, let's be our own thing. Let's be Euro. Who cares? Why not? You know what I'm
Yeah, let's
saying?
get into that.
Let's
Independent.
definitely get into that. And I spent most of my time in Scotland trying to get into it, and I only got beat up a couple times. So
I bet. Depends where you were in the country, I suppose.
No, we were just in Edinburgh. It was fine.
There.
Let's talk about Rock League. Let's get this back on the rails.
I'm getting you sidetracked.
No, I like it. I like it. I want to be sidetracked, honestly. Now, as we've talked about, you're one of the European captains, and I want you to talk to me a little bit about European curling in general, because it does feel, even in the time that you've been in the game, you've kind of been around the top level for the last better part of a decade, and even before that with the World Juniors and stuff. What do you think is making European curling so good right now? Like, I know it's one thing to talk about Scotland, and obviously Scotland's always been good and always had teams competing at the highest levels. But when you look at the world rankings, 8 of the top 15 teams are European and from 6 different countries, which is really something we've never seen before. Tell me about European curling. Like, what is making it so good? You're over there, you're playing in European championships, and you're going to Bern and Baden and whatever. What's going on in Europe right now?
Well, I think it started even before kind of my generation. Like, it was almost the kind of Nicholases and the Thomas Ulsruds that were coming through, and David Murdoch and Tom Brewster, and people like that, like proving that Europe had legs to stand on when they were going out and playing in Canada. And, Nicholas winning world championships and Thomas winning world championships. It kind of proved to a lot of the European countries that there is, the ability to go and challenge at world championships and win them. And then, that inspired me to want to do it. And I think now success is inspiring success. So, like, people seeing that, Nicholas did it, and then now we're doing it, and Yannick's playing amazing, and Joel is winning slams, and all these other countries that hadn't won slams before are doing that, and then that just filters down to all the other European teams that are then like, maybe I could go to Canada and compete as well. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of, because like Team Ramsfeld came second at the Tier 2 last year. So, there's like a lot of teams kind of on that cusp of getting into the Tier 1 slam that, are from all over Europe. And it's not just Sweden or Switzerland or Scotland anymore. It's a big collective now.
Yeah, totally. You got Muskatovitz in Germany too, and obviously Germany's also had a long history with Andrea Schopp and the Caps, and and obviously Benny Cap now continuing in his dad's footsteps. But yeah, it's been interesting to see. I think we've always thought it's not just the fact that the countries are blowing up, but it's that it's multiple teams in a lot of these countries too. Because I think, being Canadian, we're used to, maybe not Scotland. Scotland's always kind of had 2 or 3 good teams usually. But when we're talking about the Swedens and the Norways and the Switzerlands, we would often think like, well, they got one good team, and then, that's kind of it. But now we're starting to, it's not only that, but we're seeing depth. We've got 2 Swiss teams in the top 15, and there's great Swiss teams on the women's side as well. Like, it's not just the fact that there's so many countries doing it, but it's the depth too.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it's really nice to see, like, in Scotland, we have like a lot of juniors that are coming through and getting quite excited about the prospect of playing in slams, or, now the Rock League has come along. Like, they just see a development for them to have a place, or even to think that curling is a career option for them, which, I think is pretty special.
Yeah, what does it mean to you to be kind of captaining this first sort of European team, as we're talking about how good European curling is getting? You're obviously being recognized as one of the top people, carrying that flag, as it were.
Well, yeah, I think when I first was in the conversations about it, I was like, "You sure you want to pick me?" But I think it was just a bit of an honor, like a bit of a shock as well, that they wanted me to captain a team. I still feel like I'm reasonably young, so when I was asked to do it, I was like, "Yeah, that sounds amazing." And I still think I have a few years to go in my career, so you never know how long this could last for. But it was just really exciting to have this opportunity. And I never really thought like professional curling was, or a professional league was going to be a thing in my kind of career span. So yeah, having that opportunity is now, pinching myself really.
Yeah, I do want to get to sort of where your career is heading, but before we do that, I have been giving all of the captains an opportunity to kind of put the curling group on notice. As we know, they're going to be selecting the teams. Maybe you'll have a hand in that, but it's not as though you're just going to walk up to a podium and draft a team or whatever. So I'm giving you a chance right now to put a bug in their ear, other than your own guys. Who do you want on your Europe One team? Who's the number one name you're hoping you end up with in this Rock League, this inaugural Rock League season?
I mean, put me on the spot, why don't you?
Yeah, I will. That's my job.
um, so I think right now, and to be honest, I've played this person for a long time and played at like World Juniors against him and stuff. And it would be no surprise to a lot of people that I think Yannick Schwaller is one of the most talented curlers in the world at the minute. So I would love to play with him. Like, I don't know who would skip. Probably have some words about that, but I guess maybe I'm the captain. I
You're the
can be.
captain. What do you mean have some words,
Yeah,
Bruce?
exactly. Well, no, it's a collaboration. It's like that's what I think my captaincy will be. It's like I'm not gonna lay down the law. I want everyone to be happy to, make me happy, I suppose. So I think, yeah, Yannick would be pretty special to play with. I think we've had some really good games with him over the last couple of seasons, and especially towards the tail end of last season, we played obviously the World Final and then this Players Final.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Yannick would be probably one of my number one picks.
Nice. Love it. And where would you like to play? Where would you like to see Rock League go?
I never got to go to Nashville, and I'm jealous, so I want to go to Nashville.
Yeah, that was you guys kind of put out a thing, like you had a commitment, you couldn't go to Nashville, right? So
Yeah, it
so
was
this
like
was
don't
your
vote
offer.
for Bruce or something.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so I was obviously playing the mixed doubles, so I didn't want
right.
to go to Nashville. But yeah, I think Nashville would be up there. As I said, Kelowna would be up there,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
maybe the other side of the country. I would love to go to Halifax as well. Yeah, just honestly, anywhere that they tell me to go, I'll go.
Well, I mean, that is kind of how it has worked for a long time with with the slams. Here's where they are. We'll see you
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I think Nashville. Don't worry. It honestly, it wasn't that fun. We had like no fun at all, and I'm sure you could tell that by the videos that came out
yeah. Everyone
after.
looked really sad.
Yeah, it was pretty sad most of the time.
Yeah,
I don't want to blow up your spot here, but you and I kind of talked about this a little bit this year when we were talking about, because one of the first things that Nick talked about when the curling group took over was slams going overseas, going to America. And you had kind of said that you were maybe a little nervous about a slam potentially, or a Rock League game ending up, or match ending up in Scotland, just because you're worried about, maybe the turnout. Uh, Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what do you think would need to happen to get Scottish people like excited about a slam or a Rock League event happening there?
well, I don't think you would need to make them excited. They would be excited already. It's just the sheer fact of numbers is the problem. So I think to put like a bit of perspective into it, it's like in Canada, I think you have like nearly 1 million members or active curlers. In Scotland, in like members of Scottish curling, we have around about 10,000. So like numbers wise, we're pretty low in comparison to you guys. So that's why I would be worried personally if it came to Scotland. I think like we could fill it towards the final weekend, but I think we would struggle throughout the week, just to get people out of, I don't know, the office or where they work, or give them like some time off to come and watch, or, get kids in the building. I think we could obviously contact schools and get them to bring the kids along, but they don't stay for 2 hours because, they get a bit distracted and a bit bored maybe. But yeah, I think I would love it to be in Scotland. Do we have the facility yet? Probably not. Do we have the numbers yet? No, probably not. But I like where the curling group is going, and I like the vision that they want it to be in Europe. And I do hope that we can bring it here and prove me wrong.
Love it. I mean, I love Scotland. I was there. Obviously, I didn't learn much about it when I was there, like what money is
I
used,
had to
but
pay in euros.
yeah, well, I paid in euros, and they did not like it. Uh, but no, it was awesome. I would love to see an event go there, and I'd imagine, in a lot of ways, they would want to try to bring an event there because of you and because of Ross and Eve winning the gold medal in 2022, and like I think there is something about, even if the attendance is maybe not exactly where you'd want it to be, there's still something about giving you and your country mates that sort of home field experience.
Yeah, and I would love that. And it would be pretty special because we got obviously our team and Team White that are doing amazing in the men's events. And yeah, I think it would just be really special to have, the people that have traveled so much to watch us go to Canada and compete there to actually be able to stay in their own beds and just kind of drive an hour to get to the venue to watch us for the full week rather than having to fly across the Atlantic to get there. And it'd be a nice reward for us and for all our fans and spectators that have supported us from Scotland.
I agree. We're doing it. I've just decided. I've made an executive decision. We will be
There we
doing it, and I will see you in Scotland very soon. I do want to talk about Scottish curling. Obviously, people have gotten a little bit Canada, I should say. When I say people, I mean Canadians.
go. Hmm.
We've gotten a little bit, we're used to the winner of our national championship goes to the Worlds.
Yeah.
And you've been kind of caught up in this for the last couple of years. You have not been able to win the Scottish championships in both men's and mixed doubles, not to rub it in. But would you?
Is this the savage you were talking about? Is this what I have to be?
This is what you have to be. I'm
Okay.
teaching you. You can be MB, you can also be MJ. But this, like, would you like to see it change? I know it's weird to say because you did end up winning the world championships this year. I don't think when you got selected for the Worlds, anyone was like, "Why the hell are they sending Bruce?" Obviously you had an amazing season, but I do think there is, at least for us Canadians, we feel like there is some tradition in the winner of the national championship goes to the Worlds. Do you like the way it is? Do you like the selection process, or is there a part of you that would want to play for it?
I mean, I obviously like it when it goes my way, but
I know it's a loaded question, but I think it's important to hear both sides. We know what Ross White would
yeah,
think, but what do you think?
obviously, yeah. And it's a tough situation because, Team White and Team Mouat, like my guys and their guys are pretty close. We're good friends. Like we all
Yeah.
get on pretty well. And we know what we're like we're given that information at the start of the season. We're told that it's not about one weekend where you might have a bit of an off weekend and you don't win the championship. It's not just about that weekend. It's about being consistent throughout the entire season. And both teams go into the season knowing that that's what they have to do. And it's tough because we're number one. I think Ross is number 5 in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
We're I don't. Is there 2 Canadian? Like maybe third and fourth are Canadians as well.
Yeah.
So it's tough when there's 2 teams that are so close in the world rankings that are competing for this. But and I understand the tradition behind it as well. It's just that I feel like if the sport is going to become more professional, it needs to go that way. Where like we were told when it became a selection, like 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago, that it's because UK sport need to guarantee their funding basically. So we don't think we would get as much funding if we hosted one event or a national event in one weekend and whoever won got to go, because there could be an upset and then that team might not do great at the world championship and then our funding goes down. So that was kind of why we started to look at it as like a more safe way of securing that funding. Like we're proving that we're being more consistent throughout the season. So we're the best team that have been the most consistent and have the best chance to go and win at the World Championships. And I believe that's what happened. Obviously, there's others in Canada that don't think that's the case, but it's water off a duck's back, I guess.
I mean, you won. What can anybody possibly say? You won. So I mean,
Yeah.
I guess like the
People still had
only
things to say. That's the thing.
true. Well, I think
Like,
it's
we shouldn't even be there, I guess, is what I was reading. And like a lot of the commentators were saying that as well, which I was surprised at.
yeah. I mean, maybe I said that too. I don't remember, but no, I don't know. I don't wade into this. I'm very laissez-faire when it comes to Scottish politics, as we've learned throughout this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's for us. It is just we in Canada, because the Brier is such a storied event. I don't think we just can't imagine it. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I just wanted your perspective on it, and I think
Yeah.
it's totally valid. And as you said, people know it going in. And I do also think it is a complicating factor, especially this year, because people looked at it as, well, Ross could have also won the Worlds. Like that would not, if they had gone, they could have won too, so it's I mean, how lucky are you guys to have, two great teams, and now you've got the sort of the Craik and Waddle team kind of combined, and you've, like you said, you've got the young guys coming up, Oren Carson and some others. So I mean,
Yeah.
Scottish curling's in a great place. Obviously, something's going right.
Yeah. I think like we've got a lot of teams that are going to be good for a long time. And that's really exciting, just to know that's the case. And I think it has, it was like, we're going back to that tier 2 slam, like the tier 1 event. Kyle Smith got to the final of that one. And that kind of like, we were pretty competitive with Kyle back then. And we were like, oh, maybe we can actually get pretty close to it, winning a slam at some point. And that kind of inspired us. So like, hopefully what we're doing now is inspiring the other younger teams to do what we're doing.
Oh, I think there's no question that it is. And I do want to talk about your future. You had kind of brought it up. You are still quite young in this game. You're 30, and as we've seen with athletes in this sport throughout the years, you can be successful well into your 40s. I just had Brad Jacobs on a couple episodes ago, and he just turned 40 and is talking about how he wants to do another quad. He's 10 years older than you. Where do you see your future in the game? Because I think, and not to jinx it or anything, but, you win the gold in February, you'll have 2 Olympic medals, including gold. You'll have won multiple world championships. You've won 10 slams, I think, or 11. So 10. Yeah. Okay. I thought so. 10. I thought I was right. And then I questioned my own mind for a second, but you've done so much already. Where do you see your future? I mean, I think it's obvious you're probably going to do at least one more quad, but do you see a thing where you're going well into your 40s? Like, have you even thought about that?
No, I think I've not thought about it. I think I know, I'm pretty sure I'll be doing another quad after this. I think that I would probably have to talk to Craig and see how he feels about me continuing after that point, I guess, because it's a lot. Like all the events, or most of the events, are obviously in Canada, and it's a lot of a commitment. Like we're training full time, or our schedule's pretty busy throughout the season. Like I'm now playing mixed doubles as well, so this year is a bit of a write off already, because I'm not going to see Craig for a while, and then it's hard on social things as well. So like your friends, you never get to catch up with them, and that can be quite draining. But I love the sport. I just want to do it for as long as I can, and I like, similar to Brad, like I know I'm going to do another quad. It's just probably evaluating what or reevaluating what I want to do towards the end of that quad.
Do you see, when you say you're going another quad, I don't, you don't have to blow up your spot yet, but you think your 3 guys going to do it too? Like you see it, all 4 of you together next quad as well?
I hope so. I mean, it's hard to tell. Like we've not had that full discussion as a 4. But I love my guys and I don't want to lose them yet. Like I just, I love playing with them. And yeah, it would be sad to kind of watch this team end, I guess, but I'm never gonna, force them into any situations that they don't want to be. But Yeah, I'm pretty like Bobby. I can guarantee is probably going to do another quad. Hammy, I would think he will do it. Grant, I think he will, but it's up to him. Like as I said, it's up like yeah, it takes a lot out of relationships and social situations. So it's a big decision for all of us.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. And obviously still lots of time to go, lots of runway. Not I just was curious
Yeah,
because it does come up around this time of year.
absolutely.
Only a couple questions left. You talk about this group of guys. You had one of the best seasons ever this past season. You almost did the full calendar year Grand Slam, which we've never seen. You won 4 out of 5 in a year, which is incredible. You won the Worlds. I want you to give me like let's get into the weeds a little bit here for the real like true curling fans who are listening to this pod and get as technical as you want. But what has allowed things to stay so consistent with your group? Because I think that's what people recognize when they watch your team. It's very rare that you have a bad game, even more rare that you have a bad event. How do you keep that consistency up between you and your guys?
There's so many different aspects I could go into, I guess. I think it started with like our like British curling has obviously gone full time. Like we're now full time athletes, so we train pretty consistently, which has helped us then be consistent in competition. I also think that the guys and I have gone through a lot over the last 8 years, and we've found ways to have the difficult discussions, but actually make them really beneficial. And no one takes anything to heart. Like everyone is very understanding of each individual's feelings. And I think that's a massive part to play in what has led to what people have told us is one of the most successful seasons. And I believe them. I think it was kind of crazy that we did that.
Bruce,
And
you
it's
can admit it to yourself.
okay.
Okay, it was one of the best seasons of all time. You're allowed to say it out loud.
Okay. So one of the best seasons as a team ever. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I think it's just having the like all four of us are very different, and it's just created this really fun environment that all of us love to curl. All of us love kind of well, maybe not love, but like enjoy each other's company to an extent, and we try and make it as fun as possible. And when we realize that we're not having fun, we try and like figure out a way to make it fun again. And yeah, I think it's just like it's hard to think of other people that I could play with and enjoy it as much. But yeah, the guys have just been incredible to me and like my kind of journey. And, I hopefully have been able to support them as much as they have supported me. So yeah, I'm very grateful to have been a part of this team.
Love it. Last question. Tell me about the scooter in Schaffhausen.
Are we allowed to talk about that? How did you know about that? Did I tell you about that?
No,
Oh no, how did you find out about that?
I have eyes and ears everywhere, Bruce.
Okay,
The
so
season was basically over. I think you're allowed to say this. I think.
yeah. It was after the World Men's. It was like the banquet or something, and a scooter malfunctioned, and I just happened to be on it, and I may have fallen off it. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna have words with the scooter company because I'm pretty sure it malfunctioned, and it was nothing to do with me. Maybe having a few too many Chardonnays.
I'll get in touch. I don't know what the scooter brand of choice is in Schaffhausen, but we
I
can.
can't remember. Lime bike maybe or something. But yeah, no, I've not been allowed on a scooter since. So like the guys see scooters and they're like, "Oh, Bruce, don't get too close." Oh. Yeah.
Hey, whomst among us, right? It could
You're
happen.
very good at your research, actually. I'm surprised you even knew about that.
I know everything. We have to. We have to know it. You're Bruce Mouat. We have to know.
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
That's what. Do you know who Nardwar is?
Nardwar?
Nardwar, yeah. He's like a Canadian legend. He interviews musicians.
Okay.
And that's part of his style is like he digs up dirt
Oh,
on his interviewers. And then whenever they say, "How do you know that?" he says, Well, you're Kendrick Lamar. We have to know.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was stealing a Nardwarism.
Okay.
You're Bruce Mouat. We have to know. So
well, there you go. I'm glad only suck, And let's just stop there. I don't even know if you know.
The scooter is as far as we can go.
There we go.
And it was a malfunction, and I just wanted to give you the chance to put it on the record that it had nothing to do with you or the mental state you were in, and it was 100% the scooter company's fault.
Thank you very much for understanding.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Bruce, for joining us. Very excited for next season. All the things you've got going on, Rock League especially, is going to be a blast. You're the man. BMB. Can't wait for next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Cheers, John.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks to Bruce for joining us. We will see you back here next week with the next Chattin' with a Captain. I'll be joined by maybe the future of USA curling, Corey Dropkin. So stay tuned for that one. Can't wait. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon. Bye.